Welcome to the show, New Jersey. Congressman Jeff Van Drew. He's on the House Judiciary Committee. So, Congressman, first of all, thanks for coming on. But big tech firms like Google, Amazon, Microsoft, Meta are heavily investing in nuclear power to meet the AI data centers' energy demands. What's Senator Bernie Sanders so mad about?
Well, he's always mad. You know what he's mad about? He's mad because he knows deep down inside that the cause of all these problems, I mean, it's really rich that the Democrats say this. They are the cause of the problems. Let's talk about it real quickly. Open borders. We had to pay for transportation for illegals, many criminals. We had to pay for their housing, for their clothing, for their legal representation, etc. Cost us billions upon billions of dollars. It is the Democrats who did that. It is the Democrats who actually slowed us down with energy production. We would have all the energy we would need and more, but it was bad public policy federally and in the states where they cut back, they closed gas plants, closed energy plants, didn't replace them with anything, and stop pipelines. Again, their problem. Energy is the driver. When you don't have energy that's plentiful, you're in trouble. And finally, when we look at the whole panorama, they are the ones that voted for the biggest tax increase ever in the history of the United States of America, didn't vote for any of the tax cuts that we wanted that is going to help the economy so much. So how can they talk about this?
Yeah, so Congressman, well, you remember AOC forced Amazon to take 25,000 jobs and look elsewhere. Listen to this.
Say to those people who are criticizing you.
First of all, that's not what it's a celebration of at all whatsoever. What this is a celebration of is that everyday people in the community stood up and they wanted a say in what was happening in their own backyard. You know, it's not the community's fault that the moment they said, hey, what are the details of this? Where are the benefits coming from? Can we secure more? You know, they came to the negotiating table and Amazon said, we're not going to negotiate anything, we're just going to leave.
So Amazon decided to pull the plug on its planned New York headquarters due to a fierce opposition from AOC. Amazon said it would have created 25,000 high-paying jobs, while the area would have received a $2.5 billion investment from the company, benefiting from an estimated incremental tax revenue of $10 billion. But none of it happened, and that area is still struggling for jobs. What do you make of this?
Well, and it's typical Democrat stuff where they don't have a plan. They don't have an idea. Their only plan, their only idea is bigger and bigger government. So they envision a time where the government is the complete source of economic riches in the economy. It doesn't work that way. Wherever that happens, they fail. If you leave America alone, if you unbridle it and let it succeed, we can do amazing things and people will benefit. Jobs will be created. Incomes will go up. I think we're going to see some of that next year. We're going to see some real definitive change when people see tax cuts and they're paying less in taxes on their tips, paying less on taxes on overtime, paying less on taxes. 85% of Social Security recipients will no longer be paying taxes on their Social Security. Young families will be paying less taxes who have children. We have the answers. Let the economy work. Let capitalism work. I still believe in local control. People should have a say in what comes in their community, but an intelligent say. We can do this.
Congressman, I want to get this in one last thing before we go. You're on the House Judiciary Committee, and it's expanding the probe into former Special Counsel Jack Smith. Do we expect his deputies to testify tomorrow, first of all, about the subpoena to get lawmakers' phone records, and what are you hoping to hear in that?
I hope so. What we're going to hear is he overstepped his authority. We're going to hear that actually he was the source of illegal activity and that he weaponized the judiciary. And it's a shame and it's awful and it's a black eye on America.
Yeah, and on Wednesday, expecting Jack Smith himself behind a closed-door hearing. So that should be very interesting what comes out of it. Thank you, Congressman Van Drew. I appreciate it.